Hello everyone and welcome back to Color Scholar. This series of Photoshop tutorials is focused on being able to learn the basic essentials, and I'm really excited to share my experience with you all. We will learn basic elements like program interface and workspace, which is the focus of today's video, as well as various tools and features of Photoshop in other videos in the series. Bear with me, and when you have completed this series, you will be confident with using Photoshop and learn about all the powerful features again. Again, I would like to thank you for watching my videos and future videos as well. In this tutorial, we are going to get a quick overview of Photoshop interface, how to create new document, open your images, saving and exporting your projects, various tools and panels, and many more. So let's jump right into it. So we are here in Photoshop, and to create a new document, you can go to File in the menu bar and select New. Or you can use the shortcut Ctrl+N or Command+N for Windows and Mac respectively, and the new document window will show up again. So there are already preset documents that you can browse within Photoshop and choose the sizes depending on your project. They are grouped together on the basis of the uses, and you can select any one that fits your purpose. But I'm going to show you how you can create your custom document, and for that we need to go right here, and the first box indicates the name of your document. Let's name it as test, for example, and let's change the unit to pixels as we are working on an online image. And for width we can put anything we want. We can just put 2000 and height 2000 as well. We can even choose our document to be either portrait or landscape. And artboards, we can click on artboards if you are a graphic designer, and I'll talk about it later. In the resolution, you can keep the resolution according to your desire. If you're working for online images, for web pages and Instagram and Instagram and Facebook, you can keep the resolution at 72. This will even decrease the size of your image, but if you are planning on printing your image, then you can put your resolution at 300 or higher. In the color mode, RGB color will be selected by default in Adobe, and if you click on this RGB color, drop-down menu will show different kinds of color modes like bitmap, grayscale, RGB, CMYK, lap color. RGB is red, green and blue, and these are the primary colors of light. CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow, and K is key for black. And if you are planning on compositing an image in Photoshop and you're going to take that photo to a professional photo lab for printing it in a large size, then it is preferable and industry standard to use CMYK color mode for printing such kinds of images. Now to the right side of the color mode, you can see it has written 8-bit, and if you click on it, there is 8-bit and 16-bit, and that is for CMYK color, but we will be working on RGB color. But when working with RGB color, you will find 8-bit, 16-bit and 32-bit. Now what is bit? Bit refers to the color information stored in your image. The higher the bit depth of an image, the more the color it can store. So if your image is 8-bit and another image is 16-bit, this means that the 16-bit image can store more color information than the 8-bit image. An 8-bit image can store 256 possible colors per channel in an image, and there will be 3 channels: red, green and blue. Likewise, 16-bit can store 16,000 colors per channel. So you can tell by the numerical comparison between 8-bit and 16-bit image that 16-bit image can store more amount of color than the 8-bit image. But by default, we generally select 8-bit and RGB color mode. And below color mode, there is background content. It determines the color of your new document. By default, it will be white. And if you create, your document will be white. But if you were to select the background content as black or any other color, you can select any other custom color. You can just right click here and your color picker will open, and you can choose any of the color. Your document will be of that color, but we need white color, so let's keep it as white color. In the advanced option, there is color profile and pixel aspect ratio. And color profile is generally we use sRGB when working on images online, but if you are again planning on printing, you can consult with your photo lab about which color profile you should use so that your picture or image that you print will be true to its natural form. So after filling out all these details in a new document window, you can just click on the create, and your document will be created. And that is how you can make a new document in Photoshop. Now if you want to create an artboard in Photoshop, you can go to File, New, the similar process, but while creating a new document, you should select Artboard and create. Now you can see a document has been created, but an artboard has been written on top left corner of your document. Now what are artboards? Artboards are useful for graphic designers for creating multiple projects for the client. For example, if you are designing a website, a brochure, flyers, and even business cards using the same graphics and images that are identical to each other, instead of creating multiple tabs, you can work on them together in a single window with artboards. It is not necessary to use artboards. If you want, you can just work on different tabs. It's your choice. And I'm going to show you how you can make multiple documents in a single window using artboards. Go to the Move tool in Tools panel and select Artboard. And once you have selected Artboard, if you just click and drag to the side of this document, you will be creating another document. And if you want another copy, if you press on this plus icon, you can make another one. Likewise, if you want to make another, let's say we're making a business card. The first one is for web page, the second is for brochure, third is for flyers, and the fourth, assuming, is for business card. We have created 4 different documents in a single window, and if you are the creator, then you can work on these 4 documents all at once instead of opening them on different tabs, and this will streamline your workflow. So artboards are generally useful for designers, but they are great for streamlining your workflow when you're working with similar items across the board. But I usually keep artboards unchecked. And if you don't like this kind of new document window wherein there are pre-made presets, and if you want to revert back to the old kind of new document, we can do that in Photoshop. You can go to Edit, Preferences, and in General, in the Options category, you can see there is Use Legacy New Document Interface. And if you check this option and click OK, now if you open a new document, you will be greeted with the old version of new document. There will be no presets available for you. You can just type in the name of the document, type in your width and height and resolution, and click OK, and you can make a new document using the old style. So this is one of the way by which you can revert back. And if you want to go back to the original type, you can just go back to Preferences, General, and if you uncheck this, and again if you try to open, you can see the previous type of new document will come up. We are now going to take a look at the Photoshop interface and discover where everything is located. So once you have created a new document or opened an existing file, you will be presented with your document in the center right here, and then the rest of the interface is made up of different sections. We are going to go through these different sections, but first let's talk about Workspace. Workspace is the way the panels are arranged in the program, and we can access the workspace by going to Windows, and if you click on Workspace, there will be a list of workspaces that you can use. Currently my custom workspace has been selected. That is my preferred workspace that I use, and by default your workspace will be Essentials default when you're using the Photoshop for the first time. You can even toggle between different kinds of workspaces listed here, like 3D. If you click on 3D, your workspace will be made for working on 3D. Similarly, for graphics and waves, your workspace will look different like this. There are different character, paragraph, clips, panels up here, layers is down here, history is here. You can toggle, you can collapse the history by just clicking on the icon. And if you want to go back to your workspace, I'll just click on my custom workspace and I'll be back on my workspace. And now if you want to make your custom workspace, suppose you want actions to be displayed and characters as well as clone source and navigator as well. After you have made the necessary panels visible or active that you would like to use on your workspace, you can go to Windows, Workspace, and in new workspace you can type in the name of your workspace, My Workspace. I'm going to write My Workspace. You can name it anything you want. And if you've got custom keyboard shortcuts that you have made and menus and toolbars, you can even select these three and click Save. And now if you go back to workspace and let's go to default, and if we go back to the workspace that we just created, My Workspace, you can see all the panels will be intact and you can start working according to your workflow. I'm going to just select my current workspace, and that is how you can manage workspace in Photoshop. So you can either choose pre-made workspaces created by Adobe to help you get started, or you can customize your own by rearranging the different panels that you have available and arranging them on the interface according to your workflow. Because the artwork you will be working on will be different than others, the interface of the Photoshop program can differ from person to person. So if I come up here to Windows, we can see there is an option. This is the workspace, and below workspace there are different kinds of panels or options that you can activate or click by just selecting them. If you want to see the channels is here, and if you want to remove any kind of panel, if you want to remove the channels panel, see if I just deselected the channel and the channels panel has disappeared. And if I bring it back again, where is the channel? The channels panel has come right back here. Photoshop interface is divided into 4 main sections, each of which can be customized for your own workspace. And they are toolbar, tool options, tool panel, and artwork window. At the top there is menu bar, and we can access all the tools and features of Photoshop from here. Just below that we have tool options, and they change depending on the tools that we have selected. And then to the very left we have a set of tools that we can access for our project, and there are a total of 21 visible tools. And I say visible because as you can see at the bottom right corner of the tools, there is a small arrow icon which indicates that this tool has additional pop-up tools within it. So when you click on the right mouse button, you will be greeted with multiple extra tools for the tools that has this little arrow icon. If we go to Move tool and right click on the Move tool, we have Move tool as well as Artboard tool. Similarly, if we go to the Marquee tool, to the top we have Rectangular Marquee tool, Elliptical Marquee tool, Single row Marquee tool, and Single column Marquee tool. Same thing applies to all the tools that has a small arrow icon besides the Zoom tool, which doesn't have any icon and it only works as a single tool. Every tool that you select will give you additional options in tool options bar to help you fine tune what you are doing in your project. For example, if you select the spot healing tool, and if you go to the options bar, you can see selecting the spot healing tool will give us different types of tools like content aware, create texture, proximity match. So these are different kinds of spot healing tool. And now if you right click the spot healing tool and select the tools beneath it that are healing brush tool, patch tool, content aware tool, and red eye tool, if you select any one of these, the options bar will change and it will show the different features that the current tool has. So when I select healing brush tool, there are options for source, sample, and pattern and all that. Similarly, if we select the brush tool, there are certain options in options bar, and changing the brush tool to pen tool or color replacement tool or mixer brush tool will give us different kind of option bar. Each tool will work properly for a given project, and if not, then you can also select the different kinds of tools that are available within these tools. So more than 60 tools are available in Photoshop that you can use for your workflow. And to the right side of the interface we have tools panel, and here we can see layers is the panel where we will be working with different kinds of layers. Beside the layer we have channels panel, and channels panel comprises of red, green, and blue channels that together make up RGB channel that gives true color to the image. And there is also path that is used or applicable when using pen tool or vector images. So that is all for the overview of Photoshop interface and workspace. I know there is a lot of information to get into, but we will be working and going in detail about each of them in our future videos. Now we're going to see how to save and export our project to different mediums and the types of saving options that are available in Photoshop. First, let's open an image in the Photoshop, and we can do that by going to File and Open. Now we can select any one of the images and the image will be opened. The slowest way of saving the file is going to File and Save. Now the save is grayscale because our layer is locked as background. In order to save this image, we first need to unlock this layer. And now since I clicked on the lock icon, I can easily unlock my layer. My layer has become layer 0 from background. And now if I go to File, Save, I can save this file. Now in this file save options, there's an option to type in the file name. We can type whatever we want. And down here we have to decide the file type. Now by default the file type will be selected as ps.psd, which is Photoshop document, and this will retain all your layers that you have worked on in this image. And if you press save button, our files will be saved. And now if you press Ctrl+S as a shortcut for saving, it will just save our progress. Now we're not going to go through all these file types, but the most commonly used three types of file types in Photoshop are .psd, that is Photoshop document, and JPEG, that is glossy and compressed file type that will flatten out all your layers into a single image, and the third one is PNG, that will retain the transparency of your image. If you are going to send the file out to the internet on your website, Facebook or Instagram, you're going to use .jpeg file. JPEG file is glossy and compressed file type. When you select a JPEG file type, your layers will not be intact. For example, for this image, let's put on an adjustment layer of curves. Let's give an S shape. And if we save this file now as JPEG file, let's name it as edit, temple 1 edit, and save. It will give us the JPEG saving option. It is preferable to put the quality at 12, that is maximum, to retain the maximum quality of the image, and press OK. Now if you, let's close this document for a while, and if we try to open that file we saved in template.edit, you can see our curves adjustment layer is not visible anymore. So this is the drawback of JPEG files. Any number of layers that are used in that image will be destroyed or flattened out for JPEG. But if you want to share your image in online and in Facebook and Instagram, JPEG files are the format that are supported. So for that purpose, you can save your project as JPEG file. Now the second one is PNG file. Let's close this file for a moment. Now let's open another file. The second is PNG file, and PNG file retains the transparency of the image. For that, let's first unlock this layer. Now selecting my object selection tool, if I just drag my mouse around this object, Photoshop will automatically select these two boxes. And if I press the layer mask, which I will discuss in depth in other future videos, now I have successfully isolated my subject from the background, which was a white background. Now if I save this file as a PNG file, let's keep it as box PNG and save it with maximum large file size, that is, it is retaining the maximum amount of quality of the image, and press OK. And if you close this file and let's open a new file, let's say this one, and if we open that PNG file that we saved right now, box.png, and using the move tool, if I drag this image to my original image, you can see the transparency is maintained. That is, it doesn't have any background. The box doesn't have any background. So this is the feature of PNG file. If you want to retain the transparency of your image, it is better to save the image in PNG format. And PNG file is lossless. It is going to keep higher amount of information of that file versus JPEG, but PNG is mostly used when we need to retain the transparency of the image. So for saving the file, it's Ctrl+S or going to file and save. But if you want to save already saved file in some other format, like currently the file is saved as Photoshop document.pst, and if I want to save as JPEG, I can do that by opening my save as dialog box, and in the file type I'm selecting JPEG. Just give some file name to the file, and if I press save, you can see I have saved the file in JPEG format without altering my master file. This way we can have different versions of edited files instead of doing them all in one master file. Another way of saving the file is going through export, and when we go to export, there are a couple of options: quick export as PNG, or export as, or save for web legacy. And we're going to talk about quick export as PNG and save for web legacy. If we select quick export as PNG, this will bypass the save as option that we used earlier, and it will automatically save the file as PNG. We just need to give it some name and the file will be saved as PNG file. And if you want to save this file or export the file as a JPEG, we need to select save for web legacy. And in this dialog box, we've got a couple of options here. We can change the type. We can choose GIF, JPEG, PNG, WMB. We can even specify the quality of the file, high, low. If you keep the quality of the file high, the size of the file will increase. See, the quality is 60 right now, and if I increase it to about maximum, that is 100, you can see the file size has increased from 400 to 900 kilobytes. So JPEG usually decreases the size of your image, and it is used when you want to save your image online or in web pages. You can even change the size of your image. Right now the image is 2000 by 1333, and if I want to change the size from 2000 to 1000, you can see the file size has changed from 900 to 568 kilobytes. So this way we can control, if we export the image by save for web, we can control the quality of the image that we are saving, and we can save the file in JPEG, GIF, PNG. 5 types of options are available, and after you have selected the desired options, if you press save or done, your file will be saved. So that's how you can use save and export to save your files in Photoshop. So at the end, we have covered up basic Photoshop interface, workspace, what tools are where and how we can access them. Also opening the file, creating a new document, saving and exporting the files. I know it is a lot of information, but we will go through them in more detail in upcoming videos. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you learned something new, and if you did, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching. I hope to see you back for some more. See you next time on Color Scholar.